Alright, hello and welcome again. Today what are we going to do is we are going to learn about how can we actually do file sharing by using a file server system. Let's get started and we will see how we can actually use a file server in order to share files. So basically, if you have a file server, that means that you have like a centralized system in place so everyone can go there and access files on a daily basis. So one central system for file sharing, and that is our file server. Alright, so I'll get into my KTSFO DC01. We will make it as a file server here, and we will see how can we basically install the roles for it. So I will log into my domain controller, and then we will see how can we actually use those services. So in order for us to make sure that the file server services is installed, you can basically click on Start, go to Server Manager, and once you go to Server Manager, in here you have this option called Add Roles and Features. Add roles and feature is from where we add roles such as Active Directory role, DNS role, file server role, web server role. So all roles are um, actually in here if you would like to install. So if I click on add roles and feature, click on next. In here you can say role based or feature based installation, which we are trying to do. Where are you trying to install? We are trying to install on this server KDSFO DC01, which is correct. Alright, so in here you can see that I have file and storage services, and you can see that the file server is already installed. File server is already installed for me, so I do not need to do anything. But if you don't have any service installed, you can basically do what? You can choose this and then press next finish, and it will install. Once it is installed, you will see it here. You see file and storage services. File and storage services, under here you are able to then create shares and share it with the users. So if I click here, you can see that on the shares it will basically show all the different shares that I have. It will show all different shares that I have. So basically right now I have one share, two share, and that's it. So now let's stop these shares. Okay, so I want to stop these previous shares that I had. I will stop them so that we can create new ones. If you want to create a new share, you basically right click and say new share, and then you have multiple different options. If you are using Windows based computers, you can use SMB. If you're using Linux operating system, you can use NFS. So SMB for Windows operating systems, NFS for Linux operating systems. So that is what you can basically choose and use. Any questions you have until here? So um, we will say SMB share quick because it is operating system that we are using, and it is Windows operating system. So that is why what we will do is we will use SMB share and quick and then press next. Now it is telling us, okay, you want to share, you want to start sharing. What is your server name? What is your file server name? So our file server name in our case here is KDSFO DC01, and then I have the volume C selected. So that is what I have. But in real life, we don't use the C drive. We have D drive, we have E drive because we have more storage, right? But in the testing case, we can simply choose the drive, or you can specify a custom path. So how can we specify a custom path? For example, I can go to C drive, I can say new folder, and on the new folder I can say knowledge trains, and once I am inside, I can create another folder, under knowledge train, another folder, call it accounting, and let's call this one, let me go back, knowledge train. Okay, I'll choose knowledge train for now because I think I'm not able to create under it. So knowledge train. So we specified our own location, our own folder. We say next here. Now, in here it is telling us your share name will be knowledge trains. So one is folder name and one is share name. You can change your share name. It will not change your folder name. So if you want, you can change it. If you don't want, you can leave it as is. Now, C drive knowledge train is the path, and then you can see that this is the network path. So whenever you type backslash KDSFO DC01 backslash knowledge trains, it will basically open this path for us. This is the name. This is the original local location. This is the remote location or network location. Press next. Allow caching of share if you want to allow caching so that users can access the files when the server is not available. You can simply do that. Encrypt data access, you can choose that too. It will encrypt and secure your data. Now you have ability to customize permissions. We will not do it here. We will leave it as is. We will come back, or we will do it in different way. Alright, so it is now created. Now if I go to my C drive, I go to here, you can see that I have knowledge trains created. If I do backslash KTSFO DC01 backslash, it automatically pops up knowledge train. So that is what we created. Now that we have our folder created, what we need to do is we need to create two more folders. One for HR department, one for accounting or finance department. Now what we will do is we will make sure that whenever we have users signing in to the client machine, they are able to access the files. If Zia is in HR department, Zia should be able to access HR files only. Zia should not be able to access the accounting files. So that is what we are going to focus on right now. So if I ask you one question, that in most of the departments or most of the companies we have hundreds of users, do you think it's a good idea to add users one by one and give them access, or create a group and add the member of that group and then give them access? So the answer is we create a group and then add everyone member of it. So we don't have to maintain the permissions all the time. We just add users to that group. So we have finance department, we have HR department. Now in here you can see that in our HR department we have Umaid, we have Saitkawa. In our finance department we have Zia. So Zia is from finance, and we also have a group for finance users created, and all users who are member of this finance group will have access to finance. So Umaid and Zia should will have access to finance folder. Now I will you can see that we also have another group called HR. So this HR group is also a security group that we will use to assign permissions. So Saitkawa is member of that. So now what is our scenario? Our scenario is that Kawa should be able to access HR. Zia and Omid should be able to access accounting. We will do some testing now. Let's get started. Right click on HR, go to properties, go to security tab, click on edit and click on add. In here write HR because that is the group name. Press OK and give access, read write access. Click apply, click OK, click OK. Let's go to accounting folder. Go to properties, go to security, click on edit, click on add, and then add finance. So finance users, full access. Now, who is logged in? Zia is logged in. We go to the Windows computer, KTSFODC01, press enter. Okay, knowledge trains. Zia should be able to do what? Access accounting folder, HR folder. So Zia is able to access both of them. We have a problem. We have a problem because we want Zia to only access accounting department. Let's see what is the problem here. If we go back to our main folder, right click, properties. If you click on sharing, you can see that okay, sharing permission is fine. Okay, this is also fine. Let's check the security. Do you see this? It says who? Users. Users. Users group means all users. So what is the main folder permission? The main folder permission is all users can access and they can read, execute, read, list, write. Read, I mean. And they have access. So what we need to do? We need to click on edit and remove the users group, because if users have access it means everyone's have access. Okay, if you click on advanced, click on change permission, the very first thing that you can do is you can click on disable inheritance and then click and convert inheritance, and now remove users from here. Okay, click apply. Now let's go back and check test. See, you do not have access. Okay, so problem 1 solved. Now we need to give them access so they can get in to this folder. How do we do that? Click on add, select principal, add HR and add finance. We will add both of them. Okay, it's saying you can add only one. So let's add one. Okay, read access only. Press OK. Click on add. We will add finance users now. Press OK. Read access only. Apply. Now, if I refresh, see, I can open now. How about Zia tries to go to accounting department? How about Zia goes here? Okay, that's problem again. So now the main folder permission is solved. The main folder permission is solved. Now we want to make sure that the subfolders have right permissions. Right click on accounting, click on properties, click on security. You can see that HR and finance, both of them are added. So what can I do is I can click on add once, click on disable inheritance, same thing, and remove HR users and just leave the finance. Press OK, press OK. Same thing here. Right click, properties, security, advanced, disable inheritance, convert inheritance permissions, and remove finance in here because this is HR folder. Press OK, press OK. Now, if I go back, accounting, I can, HR, I cannot. Accounting, I can, HR, I cannot. Because Zia belongs to accounting department. Okay. Now, Zia is saying that please give me access to HR department. How do we do that? Should I come here and say properties and add Zia here? No. I can come to HR, I can go here, and I can simply add Zia as member of HR department. So right now you see Zia cannot access. See, Zia cannot access. But if I add Zia here, press OK, press OK. See, I added Zia as member, right? Okay, it needs to be Zia needs to sign out. Zia have to sign out in order to make it work. So whenever you give someone permission and you want them to use it, they have to sign out once. So now we log in back as Zia. You will see that before it was not working. Before it was not working, but this time it should work. If I click on here // KTSFODC01 and then I click on knowledge trains, I click on HR. See, Zia can access now. Zia can access accounting. That's it. Okay, how about Kawa? Let's test Kawa. Kawa should be able to access HR, but Kawa should not be able to access accounting. So let's sign in as Kawa. We will sign in as Kawa. s.kawa and then we will log in as Kawa. Alright, so we are logged in as Kawa, and in here what we will do is we will type KTSFODC01 and we will enter. Okay, knowledge trains, accounting. Kawa is not able to because Kawa is who HR user. Okay, now Kawa is saying, hey, you know what? Can you give me access to accounting? How do we do that? We come here, we go to groups, and we simply add Kawa member of this group. We simply add Kawa as member of this group. So see how useful, how good the groups are. See, the groups are really good, right? The groups are really good. It saves a lot of time. It saves you a lot of time. So now if I go back and log in as Kawa, you will see that I will be able to access I will be able to access the finance department. KTSFODC01 knowledge trains and then accounting. See, Kawa is now able to access it, both of them. So that is how you can do that. And then let's do one other thing today. KTSFODC01 and right click, map network drive, finish. So what we did, we just mapped a network drive. Okay, I did show this to you other day too, but you can see I have mapped network drive. Okay, now my question to you is, let me create some files, okay, so we understand the concept. So let's just say I have some files here, okay? Let's just say I have some files here. I have some files here, and this is my laptop. If I take my laptop home, if I take my laptop home and I don't have connectivity with this server, what will happen? Am I going to be able to access this? Do you think I can access it? No, I cannot, because the connectivity will be lost. So in order to make sure that you can still access when no connectivity, you can simply right click and say always available offline. When you say always available offline, what it does is it basically synchronizes all the files from this server and saves it here. So now what we have is, you can see that I have this sync center. Sync center is one of the features in Windows. You can see that sync completed, sync completed. Now for testing purpose, if I come here and go to Ethernet, change adapter settings, let me disable this. Let me disable this. I will disable the connection. See, connection is disabled, right? If I go here again, you see I can still access it, but it says CSC cache. Cache means it is saving it online. It is making it available offline. I don't have connectivity, that's why you have this cross mark, but I can still access my files. See, I can save it, I can do whatever I want. Now when I connect again, it's enabled again. So that is how you make offline files available, and that is how you do sharing when you have a file server. You basically need to make sure when you are doing a file sharing, you have a good folder structure. That is very important, okay? You have a good folder structure, and then you have a good structure for your permissions. You're putting permissions in right way to the right people, and you're not giving more access to someone who don't need it, and you're giving access based on needs, requirements, and so on. So that is something that you have to consider when doing the file sharing.